continue with the story. Loop, grant the skills target 200 armor that lasts for 30 initiative units. Page 4, Chapter 4, page 1. Age of Shattering, 1883. So almost 400 years has passed, so it's been a long time. And also before, before is actually the Khan soldier. So Khan is just like a powerful ruler, like an emperor, like Genghis Khan. That's what it means. Anyway, let's continue. Chapter 4, page 1. 1883. I have wandered for so long that there is nowhere left to go. Blank spaces have been filled, my other and I walking as one. Two, when solitude erodes my spirit. Returning to the land of my birth, I take a breath so deep my lungs ache. I find myself retracing steps already taken, trying to find pieces of myself I lost along the way. And instead of having a sword, she has a revolver. And also, you can see her armor or dress has changed over time as well. On the picture on the right-hand side. Persuasion. Decrease the target's armor by 100 points. Chapter 4, page 2. Age of Shattering, 1887. We have become a creature of habit, have we? Again, the guide had found me, donning a new face, but wearing the same smile. A good thing, truly, that there's at least one person out there dealing with all these abominations and whatnot day and night. His voice sounded strangely bemused, perhaps proud. For a while we spoke, a tone near familial, a feeling of nostalgia brimming in my chest. Perhaps that is why I let him convince me. Nostra isn't what it used to be, Max. It grew a new branch, Vostra, who are in charge of figuring out how to deal with this whole chosen one business and this struggle between us. He winked, and I think they could use the help of someone like you. A brief pause, and a smile huffed chuckle. Plural. Inside my head, the memory other was puzzled. Okay, so interesting. So the guide found her again. The guide is, someone obviously immortal as well, just like her. So, and he told her, the guide is she. The guy is a lady, obviously. Nostra isn't what it used to be, Max. So she's talking about Magpie, which is what she called her before. It grew a new branch, Vostra, who is in charge of figuring out how to deal with the other business. Compassion. The target takes 5% more damage for 30 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 3, Age of Shattering, 1888. The guide's words send me to the capital to see for myself if there had truly been a change within Nostra's organization. For months, I went from one bounty to the next, ensuring that word of my deeds would soon reach their ears. A disciple came to me one morning, asking for my services, inviting me back through their doors. What I saw within their headquarters made my heart lighter, and I accepted their task without hesitation. Crew. Reduce the target's movement range by 50% for 75 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 4, Age of Shattering, 1888. It's not very inviting place, is it? The medium's nose wrinkled, sharp eyes scanning the bag ahead with a look of near personal insult. He was a rather sheltered young man, likely due to the mysterious ability that let him find chosen ones. Watching him hesitantly prod the uneven ground ahead with his foot made me stiff a chuckle. Get on with it, the bounty hunter shouted, a grizzled hand shoving the medium into the murk. Effing scobular Launcher. Shelter. Increase the target's resistance to delay by 100% for 50 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 5. Age of Shadowing, 1890. Smoke still billowed from the bounty hunter's shotgun. The slaver's blood wetting the sand beneath our feet. Cowering, the young girl, the chosen one we had been seeking, clenched her hands tight in prayer. Even as we removed her shackles, she trembled. You're going to be all right, I kept telling her with all the warmth of my heart. We are going to bring you somewhere safe. Vow. Grant a unit 200 armor that lasts for 30 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 6. Age of Shadowing, 1891. As soon as the nightmare creatures fell, its grotesque frame riddled with holes, I felt sick. This time we had arrived too late, and the young chosen one had already given up, throwing himself to the creature. The bounty hunter clicked his tongue, breaking the silence between us. Easier to kill those effing things than trying to talk sense to them, Night King anyway. My nausea rose as he spoke, though his words solidified a thought. Never again would I allow myself to become so jaded. I did envy his ease with pistols, though. Erase. Immobilize the target for 50 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 7, Age of Shadowing, 1892. It was only a matter of time before he found out. I could see it in his eyes one night, a flicker of realization across his face. And that's all it took. Before he had the chance to speak, I placed my hand upon him, whispering an apology before my other wiped the revelation from his mind. The medium's eyes came back into focus, and for yet another night my nature as the chosen one remained secret. Unmask. Reduce the target movement range by 50% for 15 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 8. Age of Shadowing, 1893. The closer our little group grew, the more lax I become. The medium was by my side the moment I woke, and I immediately realized what I had done, or rather did not do. My words spilled out quicker than I could form my thoughts, asking him to keep quiet, for I had finally a chance to help those like myself. I'm not going to tell anyone, he said in his end. I'm not going to tell anyone, he said in the end. A small smile, but hesitant smile on his face. Just where you won't make me forget again. The campfire crackled. So I think our main character has the ability to erase memories, or maybe the ability even to implant memories, because she wiped the memory from the bounty hunter. So everybody will forget that she's the chosen one. Ritual. Increase the critical damage of a skill by 20%. Chapter 4, page 9, Age of Shadowing, 1894. After discovering my identity as a chosen one, the medium theorized that he might be able to use his powers to explore my mind, our mind, to see through my other and beyond the veil. A glimpse of unreality. Despite my trepidation, he talked me into it, and so we sat facing one another, his palm limp against mine. The medium lurched backwards, the color draining from his face. Only a second had passed, and yet he seemed to have aged several years. As I tried to help him to his feet, he scrambled away from my touch, muttering under his breath. From that night onwards, his eyes would meet mine no more. So he definitely seen something terrifying. Fracture. Chapter 4, page 10, Age of Shattering, 1894. There was no mistaking it. This was one of the chosen one we had saved months past. Even if I had been able to, I would never have forgotten a single one of their faces. Neither would my other. The young boy now had a scar zigzagging across his face, one eye no longer matching the other. Trembling, he spoke of his escape from Vostra's headquarters, the very place we had sent all of them. Giving him all that we could, we left for the headquarters to confront what truth lies ahead. Such fear in his eyes. Ruin. The target takes 10% more damage for 30 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 11, Age of Shattering, 1895. Faces, too many. Stitched and melded. Tiny limbs and smaller sobs. The median's voice void of empathy. Words dragged like barbs across my skin. An amalgamation of chosen ones. An amalgamation of chosen ones might open a gate to unreality beyond the veil. We can rid our world of the creature from their source. From the aberration, a feeble voice. It prays, a memory stares, and my heart bleeds. Mercy. Increase the damage of skill by 60%. Chapter 4, page 12, Age of Shattering, 1895. I stood drenched in the blood of Vostra, a massacre of my own making. The voice... I stood drenched in the blood of Vostra, a massacre of my own making. The voices of countless chosen ones spilled from the amalgamation, too many of which I had led happily to this fate. Placing my hand upon it, I rid them of their painful memories, so that when I struck it down, the only merciful fate they could pass in bless. In this moment, my other wept in tears I couldn't, for I had no more to spill. Burnt out. Increase the damage done by the target by 40% for 30 initiative units. Chapter 4, page 13, Age of Shattering, 1895. If only you'd have seen what I saw. Within you, beyond the veil, it's coming. An other will break free. The median's voice was frantic, his hands shaking. The bounty hunter's body lay lifeless between us. The last barrier kept us apart. It's coming. A suffering is coming, and now we can't stop it. His advent is imminent. If you'd joined the other chosen ones, then maybe we could have. Was it madness or fear in his eyes? I could no longer tell. His rambling continued even as I moved past him. Too long I have lived, and too many lives I've taken. Twilight. Increase the critical chance of skill by 15%. Chapter 4, page 14, Age of Shattering, 1895. For once, I was the one to find him. The guide listened quietly while I recounted the atrocities I'd unknowingly partaken in, and the lives I had taken. I will cover your tracks, Max. Get out of the city as soon as you can. And don't ignore the median's word. There is something on the horizon. Under the stars strong in the sky, I left the capital, daring to hope that there might yet be lives for me to save. So what happened is Nostra split into Vostra, and Vostra was using her to hunt the Chosen One, and they were joining the Chosen One together to like form. They were linking all the Chosen One together, and after linking all the Chosen One together, they will be able to form a permanent, like a permanent gateway between reality and unreality. Then they can defeat all the creatures in unreality, including the suffering others. That's what they're trying to do. But and she found out that they are doing this. They're basically keeping all the Chosen One and amalgamating them together to do this. She became angry and she massacred everybody in Vostra. And then she obviously she set all the Chosen Ones free by basically killing them. And the medium was just going crazy because I think the medium saw through the veil to see the suffering others. So the medium knows things is coming, and the bounty hunter's body lay lifeless between us. So obviously the bounty hunter is dead. She's killed the bounty hunter, and she did not kill the medium, I don't think, because his rambling continued as I moved past him. Then he told the guide what happened, and the guide covered her tracks, so people will not find her. Persistence. Increase the critical chance of a skill by 10%. Chapter 5, page 1. Age of Shadowing, 1895. Autumn rain poured from the skies, crashing against bare trees. Before my departure, the guide had spilled what he'd known about this suffering on the horizon, albeit hesitantly. Far to the west, the veil was thinning, while rumors of secret atrocities grew. This time I swore, wiping rain from my brow, I would not be too late. Sakura. Immobilize the target for 50 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 2. Age of Shadowing, 1896. My other had gradually begun insisting on breaks, their determination growing in counterpart to my own negligence. I sat partly awake beneath a pine, lured by the faraway coo of a forest dove. With the sun dripping gold, my brothers and I chased one another through a forest of wheat. Morning came, and so did my gratitude, for the night had been filled with warm memories. Reassurance. The target acts 25 initiative units later. Chapter 5, page 3. Age of Shattering, 1896. Do not despise me for all the misery you've had to face. Their voice was hesitant, barely a tug at the back of my mind. Before my other's doubt could grow, I spoke. Had you not chosen me, my life would still have been filled with both sorrow and joy. With you at my side, I've been given the chance to fight, to keep on going until both I and the others may experience more joy than grief. And for that, I will always thank you. I swear I heard him give a sign of relief. Farewell. Reduce the target's movement range by 50% for 100 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 4, Age of Shattering, 1897. Ahead lie the supposed birthplace of suffering, a city all too quiet. The smell of the plague was everywhere. The guide finds me yet again, and what he tells me might be the last thing I hear. His parting gift is that of truth, his voice ever spirited. I am curiosity, and I've always wondered what would become of you here at the end of the world. Threshold. The targets take 10% more damage for 30 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 5, Age of Shadowing, 1897. I could feel curiosity's eyes linger on my back as I went. The city's dark spires looms overhead, reaching high into the sky. As we break through the heavy gates of the quarantine, a shiver ran through my very core. Suffering knows we are coming. Distort. Increase the target resistance to delay by 100% for 90 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 6, Age of Shadowing, 1897. Shimmering rifts lined the city streets, the veil torn thin. For each twisted creature I fell, another soon took its place, each more fearsome than the last. These grotesque beasts, their shapes so much more human than any I'd ever faced. I could not bring myself to imagine what had become of the population. Retreat. Grant a unit 800 armor that lasts 30 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 7, Age of Shadowing, 1897. Dark spots danced before my eyes. Cold seeped under my skin, clinging to bone. Barely avoiding another group of monstrosity, I stumbled into the underground. The lights of the flooded subway were forever extinguished. My leg gave in, and as white noise filled my skull, I slumped against the wall. Collapse. Increase the critical damage of a skill by 20%. Chapter 5, page 8, Age of Shadowing, 1897. Wandering aimlessly beneath the city for what felt like hours, the adrenaline which had forced me into motion was ebbing away. Again I sank to the floor, a useless heap of flesh and bone. My paladin's voice begged me to rise. Then my master, my family, my other. Alas, even for all of them, my eyelids proved too heavy. Slumber. Increase the critical damage of a skill by 30%. Chapter 5, page 9, Age of Shadowing, 1897. Whether or not my eyes are open, I do not know, as darkness lies eternally ahead no matter which way I turn. However, there is motion, bits of nothing falling off of itself and gathering above me. A tangible shape forms, places of void peeling themselves backwards, revealing brown skin beneath. I ran to him, tossing what remains of myself into my paladin's embrace. Mirage. The target takes 15% more damage for 40 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 10, Age of Shadowing, 1897. I know you're not him. The look of surprise on his face made me feel guilty for one fleeting moment. I thank you for trying to give me some peace, my dear friend. The shape of the man I loved flickered. The forest around us with him, before disappearing before my eyes. My master now stood in his place, the temple's stone walls rising around us. You needed rest, and this is the only way I can help you. In my master's form, my other began to weep. For each step I took forward, their shape altered. Faces we had known so well shifting in and out of view, until all were no more than a light, one I held onto for all that I was. Merge. Increased damage done by the target by 60% for 30 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 11, Age of Shadowing, 1897. Once their tears ran dry, my other apologized once more, their voice blending with those I had once known, here to the confines of their own space within mine. They had taken me until my body could recover. Though were I to wait, the very thing I was fighting to prevent might come to pass. To hasten my recovery, my other hesitantly suggested a pact. What if I were to become mad as the Khan? What What if I were to become mad as the Khan? Caprice, caprice as curiosity. Placing my hand upon them, I could only smile for the worry they always expressed, for I had no fear, trusted them more than myself. Resurrection. Grant the skills target 100 armor that lasts for 30 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 12. Age of Shattering, 1897. Upon waking, I am calmer than I've ever been. A newfound strength, so unlike what I've previously possessed, pushed me off the cold underground floor. My head feels lighter, occupied by one rather than two. United, I re-emerge from the depth to face what lies ahead. Epicenter. Grant unit 600 armor that lasts for 30 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 13. Age of Shattering, 1897. Even united, carving a path through the hordes of nightmare creatures proved challenging. Never had we witnessed such distortion, each rift tugging at the veil, a rope on the verge of fraying. Beneath the towering spirals of the city's church, I can no longer tell what belongs to this world or the veil. On the steps sits the vessel of suffering, a chosen one, as I once had been. Extinguished. Reduce the target's movement range by 60% for 30 initiative units. Chapter 5, page 14. Age of Shattering, 1897. His scream sends ripple through the air, leaving holes for claw and bone to creep through. Skin tears from my arms, my voice dead in my throat. I try putting one leg in front of the other. Then there is nothing. I wanted to see you one last time, my dear friend. Just one last time. So, I noticed also these words sort of describe the situation. For example, mirage described what she saw is a mirage. So what she saw is the other trying to take the shape of people that she cared about in her life. For example, her family, the paladin, which she loved, and her master, which she cares a lot about. Collapse. Here she collapsed. So what happened is the guide told her the truth that he's curiosity. I think the guide could be another chosen one as well. And the guide and her went to a city which had been rumored that terrible things has been happening in the city. When she went to the city, it's under quarantine and there's a lot of terrifying creatures in the city. She fought through them, but she's obviously injured or she's very tired. She went to the underground of the city to recover. Then she combined with her other self and she became stronger, and she found the source, which is the epicenter, the source of those terrifying creature, which is the chosen one or the child, as she had been before, but the child was too powerful and extinguished her fire. And she's gone. And that's the whole story. Hopefully that made sense. Alright. So that's the whole story, and the next time we will continue with the final boss.